Let's be honest, is there any smell more nostalgic than the magical rubbery scent of a new toy straight out of the package? Probably not, but maybe we can replicate that feeling as we take another look at our muscle countdown. What's up, vintage toy fans? Every Single Muscle here, and today it's part 5 of my Every Single Muscle compilation countdown. If you missed parts 1 through 4, you're in luck because I've linked those videos in the show notes below. But if you're here for part 5, strap in, because in this video, we're counting down the last 36 official muscle figures, including the figures that came exclusively with the hard Knockin' Rockin' wrestling ring and the oh-so-rare Satan Cross. I know you're feeling the hype now, so let's jump in. We're back with another Every Single Muscle, and this time it's figure number 201, King the 100 Ton. Now, this is the second of the King the 100 Ton figures we've seen in the line, but if you ask me, he's the cooler of the two. We'll get to comparing them in a minute, but first let's really appreciate this guy for what he is here. So obviously, he weighs 100 tons. You could see that in his build. But the cool part about him is all these little spikes all over his body and all over his feet. Well, if you can even call them feet. They're more like nubs covered in spikes, but if you ask me, that just adds to his charm. Now we're going to put him side by side with his counterpart. And as you can see, while the other one's a little bit bigger and a little bit denser, this guy just has so much more charm, being a spiky little dude and not actually having feet. I got one more surprise for everybody, and that's this weird King the 100 Ton thing I've got here. His body is actually made of a hollow plastic, but his arms and legs are made of a rubber. So I don't really know the derivation of this guy, but he's from Japan, and there you go. Every Single Muscle's coming at you with figure number 202, Strongman. And what can I say? This guy's strong, man. He's got bulging pectorals. He's got these huge biceps. He's got pants that are torn at the bottom, very reminiscent of the Incredible Hulk in some ways. And of course, he's got your classic Kinnikuman style head fin. What does that mean? Why, it means he's from planet Kinniku. You see, Strongman here was just minding his own business, lifting big old tree trunks out of the ground, when one day the God of Strength jumped inside his body and turned him into Kinnikuman Big Body, who would go on to challenge Kinnikuman for the throne alongside 4 other Kinnikuman fakes, if you will. And here we are with this amazing muscle toy as a result of all of it. Who's complaining? Not me. Every Single Muscle's back with figure number 203, Cannonballer. And if you ask me, he's definitely got some Juggernaut vibes. He's got this helmet with some cracks on the back of it. He's got these shoulder pads and this double bandolier with a jewel in the middle of his chest and one in the middle of his back. And also notably, he doesn't really have feet. He just has these kind of flat, bell-bottomy looking things. He almost seems very turtle-like, if you ask me. Now let's talk about the character for a moment. Cannonballer is a member of Team Kinnikuman Big Body. During the 5 Fated Princes arc, he goes to battle with Mammoth Man, and the match ends in a double KO, a very hard-fought battle. So he's pretty badass dude. And if you look at him, he's a pretty badass figure too. I'm a big fan of him. I've had him since I was a kid, and I wouldn't let him go for nothing. We're back with another Every Single Muscle, and this time it's number 204, Sneagator. And we've talked about that character before. He's half lizard and half sneaker or something, hence the shoelaces on his stomach here. But as you can see, the lizard form of him is actually a reptile, more specifically a turtle in this form. He's got this turtle shell, these little turtle flippers, and a turtley beak. Of course, still wearing his sneakers down there. But overall, a pretty unique muscle sculpt and definitely a cool one. In the muscle toy collecting community, he's sometimes referred to as Tortle, which is a name given to him by Nathan from Nathan's Muscle Blog. If you're a fan of muscle toys, you definitely want to check out Nathan's Muscle Blog. All kinds of useful information on there. And, you know, one last time, take a look at this guy. He is just an absolutely fantastic, one-of-a-kind muscle figure, and one of my faves. Every Single Muscle's back with figure number 205, Powerful Man, and he's looking powerful as hell, really living up to his name with his bulging pectoral muscles and torn shorts. He's also looking kind of angry, and you'll notice the classic Kinnikuman style head fin. That's because, like many of these other figures, he's part of the 5 Fated Princes arc. The God of Technique took over Powerful Man and turned him into Kinnikuman Zebra, a cool character all on his own. But let's not underestimate Powerful Man himself, because he is one badass muscle figure. We're back with another Every Single Muscle, and this time it's number 206, Kinnikuman, a.k.a. Muscleman. And of course, we've seen Muscleman, a.k.a. Kinnikuman, several times throughout the line. After all, he is the main character of the series, but we haven't seen him in this pose, or many characters in this pose. You see, your standard muscle figure's kind of got his arms down at its side, but this guy, he's doing kind of your classic bodybuilder flex. He's popping them biceps, he's popping them pecs. He really wants to show off his physique here, so that's what makes it a really unique muscle figure, and hey, that's great. It's good to vary it up from time to time. It's another one, figure number 207, Satan Prince. And what can I say about this figure other than, well, it's really freaking awesome. And if you take a look at him, he's covered in all these bumps and spikes and studs, and he's got this big horn on top of his head. He's got 3 fingers on each hand, so he really comes off as very alien in nature. Overall, gotta give it a thumbs up. Definitely a cool muscle figure. Talking about the character for a second, Satan Prince doesn't exactly live up to the Prince name. He's not a prince at all. In fact, he's just a representative of Satan King's army in the 3rd Kinnikuman movie. He just kind of rounds out the numbers. He's the red shirt, or the stormtrooper, if you will. But damn, what an awesome figure. Hey, cool! Whoa, check out this guy. Oh my god. It's muscle figure number 208, Dickieman. And he's in his form-fitting jeans and his Texas t-shirt, and he's the only muscle figure with his arms up in the air celebrating, going, yeah, I'm Dickieman! Oh man, I shouldn't do this high. Dickieman in the anime and manga series is a student of Terri-Man. We don't know why he's named Dickieman. I haven't been able to find that anywhere, but if I had to take a guess, I'm going to guess he's possibly named after Dick Murdoch, who was a former tag team partner of Dusty Rhodes, who of course has his own muscle Kinnikuman character in Beauty Rhodes, so maybe he was also on Japan's radar, and that's where they plucked the name from. That's just a guess, but hey, who cares about that? Look at this sweet toy! Oh yeah, whoa, Dickieman, yeah! Why the hell not? It's another every single muscle, and this time it's figure number 209, Mixer Taitei. Now this is the 2nd Mixer figure we've seen in the line, but this is the much cooler of them because he's got 6 different faces on him, and the reason for that is because back in the anime and manga series, during his battle with Kinnikuman, the 5 fated princes, Soldier, Super Phoenix, Mariposa, Big Body, and Zebra, all astro project themselves into Mixer Taitei, giving him the power to finally defeat Kinnikuman and send him to the Chojin graveyard. But of course, Kinnikuman ultimately perseveres. He makes his way back, regains his burning inner strength, and is able to defeat the bad guys once and for all. But the cool part about it is the damn figure. Holy crap, look at that guy. And here he is side by side with the other Mixer Taitei figure in front of the Oscar Mayer Wienermobile. We're back again with figure number 210. This is Ataru Kinniku, aka Kinnikuman Soldier. And he's got a really odd pose, right? It's highly unusual. He's got his arms locked like that, but his head's totally turned around that way. And for the longest time, I just could not figure out what's the deal with this figure. How are you supposed to pose it? And I finally figured it out. So I've set up my Buffaloman figure here, and I'm just going to slide Kinnikuman Soldier in. Yeah, there he goes. Tag team pose, baby. Today we're here with muscle figure number 211, Buffaloman, aka Terri-Bull, and as you can see, this is the hornless version of the Buffaloman character. He's got a headband because his head is taped up because his horns were torn off, and if you can't really make out the details there, it's understandable. In truth, the green figures are just harder to make out the detail on, not just on video, but also in person. They also tend to get scuffed up the easiest and retain dirt the worst of all the colors. So, you know, that's just a little nitpick there. I still like green figures, and I like this guy too. Oh, hell yeah, check this guy out. It's muscle figure number 212, Parthenon, and he's modeled after and named for the ancient temples over in Greece, the Parthenon. You can see all of the columns and just this gargantuan nature to him. He's definitely one of the biggest, bulkiest muscle figures, and you know I'm a fan of those ones. Let's talk about the character for a moment. He is a member of Team Kinnikuman Zebra, both in the anime and manga series, and in the end, I believe he gets defeated by Robin Mask. But, you know, let's put all that aside. Look at this toy, man. The muscle figure sculpts are they're not screwing around. These are highly detailed, and this is one of the best ones yet. Every single muscle's back with figure number 213, Kinnikuman Big Body. And what can I say? Kinnikuman Big Body has always been a really great character design in the first place. He's got those Dragon Ball type shoulder pads and his helmet with a visor and a mask and these straps all over him. But this figure in particular posing in this way, just flexing and looking awesome from either side of the design. It's just a overall great toy. What can we say about him other than hell yeah? We're back with another Every Single Muscle, and this time it's figure number 214, Robin Mask. Now, we've seen several different Robin Mask figures across the Muscle toy line, but I think we can undoubtedly agree that this is the cutest of the Robin Mask figures because this is a child Robin Mask, so he's got slightly different proportions. He's got the bigger head on the smaller body and kind of got that chibi look to him, and so he's so much cuter than your average Robin Mask figure. Is he the cutest figure in the Muscle toy line? Well, that remains to be seen. Stick around to the next video, and maybe we can clarify that for you. We're back with more muscle-y goodness, and this time it's figure number 215, Bikeman. And so, as you can see, I've got Bikeman in this green color here, so, maybe it's hard to make out some of the detail, but he's still a phenomenal figure, and yeah, he lives up to his name. He's not just a man, he's a motorbike, so you can see the headlight on his shoulder there, and there's the seat on his other shoulder there, so it's kind of hard to tell exactly what's going on with Bikeman, but I'll put him right here next to another Bikeman Kinkeshi figure that I have that very much looks more like a bike. He's in bike form right there. But let's talk about the character for a moment. Bikeman is a member of Team Kinnikuman Zebra, and he has a fateful encounter with Ramenman that results in his demise. But all that said, let's take one last look at Bikeman and his brethren. We're back with another Every Single Muscle, and this time it's number 216, the Ninja. Now, we've seen several different versions of the Ninja throughout the series as we've touched upon each of the Muscle figures, but this is probably the most traditional-looking version of the Ninja character. His classic outfit, his throwing stars on his chest there, and, of course, the ascot around his neck. So, yeah, there he is. There's the Ninja. Another great Muscle figure. I'm running out of things to say about these guys, but that's okay because we've only got like 20 figures left in the line. We're really getting close to the end, so stick around. Only a few more to come. It's time for another one. It's Muscle figure number 217, Kinnikuman Mariposa. And as you can see, this Mariposa figure is, he's got a very interesting pose. He's obviously striking some sort of flexing pose, but he's got his head tilted all the way to the side, so it almost looks like he's trying to look over his shoulder, like some of the other posing figures we've seen before. It's a great figure nonetheless. I'm a big fan of it. Something I just noticed about him on this look is all these little tiny pockmarked little holes all over his arms and legs, and you might think that was like an error in my particular figure, but no, that is just the standard look for this particular sculpt. And of course, this is not the first Kinnikuman Mariposa figure we've seen in the line. There were two others that we previously covered, and we'll talk about all that in the next video. Oh, hell yeah, this is a good one. It's Muscle figure number 218, Warsman. And as you can see with this Warsman figure, he doesn't actually have his face or his mask attached, so we could see what he looks like underneath the mask. And so he is the robotic warrior we always knew him to be. You can see underneath there, he's got all these little component electronic parts, and it's kind of terrifying looking. But don't worry, you can put all that aside and just know that even though he was originally built for evil deeds, he ultimately just believes in the power of friendship.
Muscle Invasion Update. Scientists discover muscle things have come to wrestle. America's only hope, the battle and belt, and the wrestling ring.
He moves left. He's hooked one. Into the battle and belt it goes. He's got another. Folks, this wrestling ring may save the world. One more to go. He's got him. His battle and belt is full. Hard knockin' rockin' ring, battle and belt, muscle figure packs each sold separately. New from Mattel. Can you save the world?
Hey guys, real quick, when you get a chance, it'd really mean a lot if you can hit like, hit subscribe, maybe leave a comment below. All that stuff goes a long way, so I'd really appreciate it. We're back again with Muscle figure number 219, which is very possibly one of the most popular figures in the entire line. It's Kinnikuman Zebra, but unlike most Muscle figures, this guy is in a very unique pose. He's running, he's punching, he's kicking ass. I'm not sure exactly what he's doing, but he's definitely not standing there with his arms at his sides like most Muscle figures. This is the ultimate action pose, and the only Muscle figure really in an action pose to this extent. Really great figure, and again, with most muscles, look at all the fine detail work on his zebra stripes there. So cool. Oh yeah, and the abs too, right? Oh, badass. Wow, we're really approaching the finishing line now. It's muscle figure number 220, Devil Magician. And as you can see, this is one of the skinnier, I'd argue dinkier muscle figures in the toy line. And for that reason, he was not one of my favorites growing up. But he's still got some cool details. He's got this shoulder pad. He's got that kind of two-faced look to him. Kind of looks like Vega from Street Fighter. He also reminded me, because I had him in red, of Spider-Man and Deadpool when I was a little kid growing up. Now let's put that aside and talk about the character for a second. Devil Magician shows up in the American Tour arc as an opponent of Kinnikuman, and he lives up to his magician name. He uses throwing cards and throwing knives and invisible wires, especially in the anime, to help fight off Kinnikuman. But of course, he does not win that battle because he's just a guy who shows up and gets his ass beat and moves along the plot. And that's the same thing he did in my toy box. We're back with another Every Single Muscle, and this time it's figure number 221, New Sunshine. As you can see, I've got him in this vibrant purple color here. I've had this one since I was a kid, so I'm a pretty big fan of it. And I also think, if you ask me, of the different humanoid Sunshine sculpts, this one's probably the coolest, but we can compare those in another video. Let's talk now about the character. New Sunshine is in fact not Sunshine. It's a totally different guy, and he only shows up in the anime series. In the fourth movie, he's a member of Hydra King's underground space Chojin. So yeah, there you go. There's a little information for you, but all the information I need is right here in front of you in this awesome little rubber dude. Another outstanding muscle figure coming at you. This time it's number 222, Kinnikuman, aka Muscleman. And what can we say? This is a very unique muscle figure. This is the only one in this specific pose, and it's a really fantastic pose. So much fine detail work on this Muscleman figure here. He's got his one arm up, he's flexing his bicep, and the other one on his hip. Very reminiscent of bodybuilders. Really an outstanding muscle figure. And I want to say this is inspired by like a very specific cell in the manga series, but I couldn't find it after doing a Google search. And I'm not spending all day on that. I'm going to spend 39 seconds on one of these videos. Every Single Muscle's back with figure number 223, Mr. Barracuda. And yeah, this is a pretty dynamic looking muscle figure. He's got all kinds of stuff going on, namely this big chest plate with these shoulder doodads and a big mop of hair on top. And you might be thinking, you know, this guy almost looks like there's two different ideas going on here. And well, it kind of is. You see, the body may seem familiar to you because it looks exactly like the body of a character we've talked about several times before, Robin Mask. But the head, what's going on with the head? Well, you see, this is actually a disguise Robin Mask has taken on while he is managing Warsman at ringside. He is taken on the nom de plume Mr. Barracuda, and he eventually will rip off this wig and mask and reveal underneath it his very normal-looking knight helmet head, which is what he actually looks like underneath. And so, yeah, that's his story. Now just take in the awesomeness. Muscle figure number 224 here. This one's named New Black Hole, and as you can see, he's got a hole right through the middle of his head. He's also got this cool mohawk-like appendage on top, and on the side of his gloves and on the back of his boots, there's these blade-like extensions as well. And, you know, obviously he's available in several different colors as muscles are, but man, the purple color just really pops. It's my favorite of the color varieties in the muscle toy line. Now, let's talk about the character for a moment. Like with New Sunshine, who we talked about a couple posts ago, New Black Hole is not Black Hole. He's a completely separate, different character who shows up in one of the Kinnikuman anime movies as merely a minion of the bad guy in that movie, as a member of the underground space Chojin, I believe. But, you know, we are not too concerned with that. We're more concerned with the awesomeness of this little rubber bastard. Every Single Muscle number 225 here, and it's Robin Mask, and maybe the coolest of all the Robin Mask figures. You could be the judge of that in an upcoming video. But let's just take a look at him. He's got the classic Robin Mask look. He's got those big shouldery bits too. And if you can't tell, there's a tiny little horn in the middle of his forehead there. I think maybe it's more prominent on some other people's figures, and maybe mine's worn down a little bit. Couldn't say for sure, but, you know, there's an arc where he grows in a little horn thingy there. I forget the context of it exactly. All you gotta know is that this is a fantastic Robin Mask figure. He's really just amazing. I'm repetitive. I'm starting to say the same things over and over again. We're 220 some odd figures in. It's going to happen. Sorry, guys. Excuse me, princess. Psst. Hey, you. Scrolling the internet. It's time for another Every Single Muscle, and this time it's figure number 226, Ramenman. And so we've seen a couple Ramenmans before, but this one's all bandaged up. He's almost mummified. Makes it a really interesting, unique muscle figure. I'm a big fan of it. Another thing that I think makes this toy unique from a lot of the other muscles in the line is this hooked hand here. He's got his wrist kind of splayed in the downward position, and that kind of allows the figure to grab on to some of the others. A lot of muscle figures, their arms are just outright and their hands are all balled up into fists. This figure you can kind of use to wrestle with your figures a little bit more, so that was kind of fun. Muscle figure number 227 here. This is Kinnikuman Great. What's that? That's not Kinnikuman? No, it's not. It's actually a totally different character. Because you see, in the anime and manga series, Kinnikuman takes on a tag team partner named Kinnikuman Great, who dons a very similar mask to Kinnikuman. At first, the mask is black. Later on, you see the mask is red sometimes. And also, at first, the character is portrayed by Prince Kamehame, who is Kinnikuman's trainer during the American tour arc, but later on the mantle is taken over by Terri-Man, and I'm pretty sure this is a Terri-Man figure because if you look at the tights there, it's got the stars on there. That's kind of Terri-Man's signature look. So yeah, there you go. That is a Kinnikuman Great figure, and I think it's a great figure overall. Muscle figure number 228 here. This is the Ninja, and it's the last of the Ninja we're going to see in the Muscle series. We'll talk about all of them soon, but let's talk about this figure right here. He's obviously a bit more armored up than usual. He's got a bit of a, what is that, a chainmail headpiece and all these armor and wristlets and belts and forehead things that have all these studs on them. So yeah, he's kind of ready and raring for battle. It's a pretty cool figure. I kind of like him. I also like his weird wonky little eye there. Gives him a little bit more character. Anyway, there's another great muscle figure, but we've got a couple more coming. Stick around. Only like a few left. We're back with another Every Single Muscle, and this time it's figure number 229. Oh my gosh, we're really getting to the end now. Kinnikuman Super Phoenix. Now, Super Phoenix is always a great character design because he's got all these intricate little detailed lines all over his body. Really makes for a very fascinating looking character, but the question on my mind as a kid and as an adult now is, how are you supposed to pose this guy? Which way is he supposed to be looking? His head's turned practically all the way around. Thankfully, as with one of the other figures, I think I figured it out. You just slide him back there looking over his buddy's shoulder. Oh yeah, looking cool. Every Single Muscle's back with figure number 230. Oh my god, that means there are only 6 figures left in the Muscle toy line and a few other things. We'll talk about all of that, but first, let's talk about this one. This is Kendaman, and it's actually the 3rd Kendaman figure we've seen in the line. This is a pretty great one. As you can see, he's got this ball and chain thing attached to his hand there, and that's because Kendaman is based on this Japanese toy called Kendaman, which is very similar to a cup and ball game that we might have here in the United States. But anyway, let's take a look at the figure here. Again, a really great one. The ball itself is his head, so that's why he doesn't have a head on this figure. It's actually down there by his foot, connected to this chain. It makes for a great weapon, and this guy makes for a great toy. Short-form internet content has reached new heights with Muscle figure number 231, Warsman. We've seen Warsman several times in the Muscle toy line before. This one's got that sadistic Warsman smile stretched across his face. I don't know why he's wearing tattered hobo clothing. I forget the context of that. But nonetheless, he makes for a great figure. He's got a little bit of the bear claw on the one fist there, and you know, it's a good figure. Again, I know I'm repeating myself. I'm saying things I've said before. I like these things. What can I tell you? I like all the Muscle figures. Muscle figure number 232 here, and it's a sick one. This is the Turboman. He's got these like pipes coming out of his face and going into his chest. He's some sort of cyborg or android or something, and he's also got this hose coming out of his stomach and into his chest there too, and he's got the word turbo written on him. So yeah, he's a pretty awesome figure. Definitely kind of horror monster vibes when you take a look at him. Total badass figure. The Turboman is not to be confused with a different character named Turboman, or more specifically and confusingly, Turbomen. That guy actually shows up in the new anime series. The Turboman is a character that's existed since way back in the 80s, and like many, he did not have much character development, but still, he makes for such a cool toy. It's been a long, worthwhile journey, but we are very closely getting to the end. This is Muscle figure number 233, God Von Erich, and it is the final figure that appears on the Muscle mail-away poster. When Muscles were first released, it was only known that 233 existed. This was the last of those figures. There are still a couple more, and we'll talk about those, but it's apropos that we are at this point because this figure that I hold in my hand right now was actually a part of my very first 28 pack as a kid, so it all kind of feels like we've come full circle. Let's talk about the character now. God Von Erich, he was the founder of the American Chojin wrestling world in the manga series, and he's a massive presence. He is obviously inspired by Fritz Von Erich in name, not so much in the general design, which has this very craggly, almost Frankenstein-like look to him. He's got this long cape here and a big old belt. Very interesting figure, and as you can see, I've had this guy since I was a wee little tot in this sky blue color. And yeah, he's one of the legends. He's one of the legends in my toy box. We're back with another Every Single Muscle, and this time we're talking the hard knockin', rockin' wrestling ring. As you can see, I've got a complete ring here. Those are some replacement ropes, of course, because those aren't going to last over the years. They're made with a rubbery elastic. And of course, these are figures that are exclusive to the muscle ring. We're going to talk about them in detail in their own post. So let's just look at the ring itself. Obviously, it's got some amazing art on it. We've got Black Hole, Neptune Man, Terry Man, Kinnikuman, Robin Mask, Ramenman, and Buffaloman, and they're repurposed. Those images are repurposed kind of all around the ring there, and then there's some extra ones around the joysticks. And so the idea was you just kind of had your guys go at it. You did that until one of them fell, and they would be declared the winner at that point. Of course, many of the muscle figures didn't exactly fit inside these little claw things, and as you can see, there's definitely some distress on the plastic there. You can see it on the red one. So these things often break for a lot of people. Thankfully, if you are able to get a replacement claw part, the screws on the bottom make it pretty easy to replace. But hey, there's a special piece of muscle merch. Well, here we are spiraling down the muscle rabbit hole. This is muscle figure number 234, the first non-poster muscle figure, and one of only 2 figures in the entire muscle set that was actually made exclusively for the muscle toy line. Every other figure existed in Japan in the Kinkeshi toy line. So this guy is an original for the muscles, although he does look familiar, right? So let's say, first off, this guy came with the muscle battling, wrestling, fighting super duper ring or whatever it's called. But it looks very familiar, right? That's because there's a figure that looks near identical to it, but it's not the same one. Right here is number 141, and right here is number 234. And so there's a few differences. For one, 141 is an overall larger, bulkier figure. Also, the belt buckles are different shapes. 141 here's got a round one, 234 has a kind of rectangular one, and also the fin on top of the head is a little bit taller on the 234 figure. So we don't know why this is. Why didn't they just throw this guy with the ring too? They wanted to do something original, but not that original. Well, anyway, that's how we've got muscle figure number 234. Every Single Muscle number 235 here, and this is the second to last figure in the entire muscle toy line. This is Terri-Bull, aka Buffaloman, and this is the figure that came exclusively with the hard knockin', rockin', muscle wrestling ring right here. And like the Kinnikuman figure that also came with that ring, this guy is exclusive to the muscle toy line, meaning he was not available as a toy in the Japanese line of Kinkeshi, which is very unusual because all the others were. Now, one other thing about this guy is, unlike the Muscleman Kinnikuman figure that came with him in the ring, this guy is available in another color. You can find him in the green color as part of the Muscle Mega Match board game. So there's a little fun piece of trivia for you. Now, let's just take a look at Buffaloman here. He's a great figure. He's got the 2 horns. He's got the classic Buffaloman look. And we'll be comparing him very shortly with all the other Buffalomans in the line. Stay tuned. Well, here we are, people. It's the end of our muscle figure countdown with figure number 236, Satan Cross. And I'll get this out of the way right now. This is not an original Satan Cross muscle figure. This is a reproduction made by a very talented indie artist named Sean Skirvin, who makes all kinds of muscle scale figures in various colors and plastics. And so I have him here in this neon orange with sparkles in it. And so the Satan Cross sculpt is represented in my collection. Why don't I own an actual Satan Cross? Because the Satan Cross figure is very expensive. It is the rarest figure in the set, and it generally goes for around $100, which is far outside my price range for an individual little rubber dude. I wish I had him, but I don't. Now let's talk about what the deal is with this Satan Cross figure. This Satan Cross is based on one of the non-muscle sculpts, and it's actually a two-part sculpt in Japan. There's a back half that comes out of this thing, kind of treating him like a centaur. Now let's talk about the character for a moment. Satan Cross first appears during the Five Fated Princes arc as a member of Team Kinnikuman Super Phoenix, and we come to learn that he's actually a sort of reincarnation of Ashura Man's teacher, Samson. He has been corrupted by a parasite, which has turned him into Satan Cross himself. So, believe it or not, this guy and this guy are actually the same character. Now I'm going to go against something I've already said and clarify that Satan Cross is actually not the rarest of the muscle figures. There are several figures that are known to exist in one-off instances, or possibly two-off instances, and they are known as the super rares. So when I said this muscle journey is over, it ain't really over. It's never over. We're going to keep going. We're going to keep talking about all the assorted things in the muscle toy line, and we'll also move along to something new pretty soon. Stay tuned, everyone. There's more fun stuff on the way. It's been a crazy journey so far, but as you've just heard, it's not exactly done yet. We still have to talk about the super rares. So if you want to jump into that one, here's a link right here, assuming I've uploaded it already. But if not, there's plenty of other great stuff to watch. Toy hunts, deep dives, every single battle beast. But who am I kidding? You and I both know there's nothing better than every single muscle.